Let's talk a little bit about your first 6 months in France. It's not what you think. When you first arrive, everything feels like a dream, and it should. Cafe terraces, the language, the markets, the light, and you're paying attention to everything, whether you want to or not. It feels like a grand adventure. I remember walking along the Seine every morning thinking, this can't be real. There is a little administrative stuff in the beginning, but you're so excited it barely registers. But in my experience, somewhere between month 3 and month 6, something shifts. The novelty fades a little, and now you're setting up utilities and waiting in offices and trying to explain yourself in a language you don't fully control. You notice some things that don't work quite the way you imagined, and some small frustrations start to appear. And you realize you're not on vacation, you live here. This is the part people don't talk about. You're suddenly less fluent than you're used to being. You're less efficient and less certain. In your old life, you were competent and capable, and now everything takes a little longer and requires more work. And that can feel unsettling, especially in midlife and beyond, because you're not trying to find yourself. You already know who you are. Now you're rebuilding rhythms and systems and identity. And there's also a social adjustment. You don't have a built-in community, and you don't have shared history with people. And building that might take longer than you expect. But here's the important news. That dip, it's not failure, it's integration. The first 6 months are like shedding the old you so you can get to the new, settled, comfortable you. And suddenly the fantasy becomes reality. When I first arrived in France, I lived in an Airbnb for 3 months while I looked for an apartment. I remember clearly my first night in my first apartment. I had no furniture except a bed. And I remember sitting on the floor in front of the window with a glass of wine. I looked around and I was overwhelmed with emotions. I thought to myself, wow, you did it. Like, you live in France. You made your dream come true. Now what? And that's when it got real. It was time to shift from dream state to reality state. And reality state is calmer, more grounded, more sustainable. This is the part where you get to incorporate the best parts of the old you with the best parts of the new you. And as the months go by, the adventure's not over. There are still new things to learn, new people to meet, new systems to navigate, and to be honest, new frustrations. It's all part of the journey, and it's worth every second. So if you're planning a move to France, don't just prepare documents. Prepare emotionally. Give yourself some slack, give yourself patience, and give yourself time to integrate. That's what makes it stick. If this is helpful and you're seriously considering a move, subscribe, and I'll keep sharing the realistic side of this journey. And to help you realize your dream, I'm hosting free webinars for people who are really serious about moving to France. And if you're earlier in the process or you just want to DIY it, I also created a detailed guide with all of the information and tools you need to get your project rolling. Links to both are in the description below. And whether you plan to move this year or 3 years from now, if you're serious, we should talk. Join one of the webinars to learn more. Ciao for now.